Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Once again, my name is Dr. Paul, and welcome to our channel where we talk about nothing except the environment. It is the passion and the love that I have for the environment that drives me to speaking to us regarding our environment and how we can conserve it, regarding the global climatic change and how we can mitigate it. It is just the passion and the love which I would love to spread out to every person, to every individual, to develop the passion, to develop the love, conserving the environment, because unless we conserve the environment, then we shall not have food for tomorrow. Unless we conserve the environment, then we shall not have shelter for tomorrow. Once again, welcome to our YouTube channel, and today we're going to speak about another way of how we can conserve the environment. We're going to speak about another simple way of how we can make sure that we give back the environment, of how we can ensure the health of our environment. Thank you and welcome. And so today we are going to talk about saving energy as a way of saving our environment. We're going to talk about cutting down on your power consumption at home as a way of saving energy. And I will explain in a bit how these two are related, because saving energy or saving power consumption at home might look quite not obvious and not quite clear, but it is actually having a direct link on saving energy, in a way that we have a direct link between the energy we use at home and the health of the environment. I will explain this in a bit. Most of the power stations that generate the electricity we use at our places burn carbon and other fossil fuels to produce the energy that we need. And this means that the more electricity is needed, is the more we're going to have these industries and these power plants burn more of the carbons, the coal, and crude oil to produce the electricity we need. And yet we know that every time we have burning of fossil fuels, it is going to be coupled with production of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide and other gases, including sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. And we know that when these gases accumulate in the atmosphere, they trap the heat which would have been emitted back into the space, and then they increase the effects of the increased greenhouse effect. And every time we have an increased greenhouse effect, we are talking about increased temperatures and increased global warming. And therefore, the higher the energy is required, the higher the fumes that are going to be generated by the power plants. And therefore, if you cut down on your energy consumption at home, then you will reduce the burden on the power plants. You will reduce the amount of carbon fuels and carbon fumes that the power plants will generate in order to produce the electricity that you need. It is something that looks far-fetched, but it is really important for us to know that when we cut down our power, when we cut down the energy we use at home, we contribute to the environment. How can we achieve this? How can we cut down our energy consumption at home? How can we reduce the power that we use at home? I'll share with us one or two or three ways of how we can reduce the energy that we use at home, and in a way give back to the environment, in a way save our environment. The first thing is switching off lights in the unused rooms. A number of us have quite many rooms at home, and all these rooms have been connected to the grid and electricity. They have lights and bulbs in there, but we are not using these rooms at the same time. We are not using all of them at a go. And so it would be good if at that time when you're not using a particular room, then you turn off the lights that in those rooms, such that you cut down on the costs. Even when you are leaving home and you're not leaving any person at home, if it's not at night or where you fear for your safety, but you can turn off the lights when you are moving away to go to work. Let's leave the lights turned off, because in a way we reduce on our power consumption, we reduce on our energy at home, and then we give back to the environment. But the beauty with these simple ways of cutting down energy is that they also reduce on the expenses that you have to pay for your energy. And so rooms which are redundant, rooms which are not being used, let's switch off the lights and only switch them on when it's really, really needed. In that, we shall really be giving back to our environment. The second thing that we can do at home to reduce on our energy and reduce on our power consumption is shutting down your computer and shutting down your laptop. This can be at home or even at your workplace. There are those times when you are not using your computer, when you're not using your laptop, and you're moving out, let's say for lunch or for dinner, and you'll be coming back. Many of us have a tendency of just putting the computer in sleep mode and hibernation mode. But it would be actually good if you completely shut down the computer, because you're not going to be using it in that 1 or 2 hours that you're going to be out of your workplace, so you're going to be out of home without using it. And so you cut down on the electricity that would be consumed by that computer or laptop. And the other thing that we can do to cut down our energy consumption at home is switching off, unplugging idle electronics. In most cases, we have our television sets, and we have our microwaves, and we have scanners and printers, and these are all the time plugged into electricity even when we are not using them. Now, what is notable about these appliances is that even though you are not using them, but for as long as they remain plugged into the electricity source, they will continue consuming electricity, because they use what we call standby power. Now, standby power, continuous use of standby power, increases your energy consumption at home. And therefore, if you unplug these idle electronics and idle devices at home, you will be reducing on the energy that you use at home. The other thing is that some electronic chargers, I have an example here. For example, this chargers for the laptop. In most cases, after we use them for charging, we tend to forget and leave them in the power sources, and yet we are not really using them. Now, at a certain point, you'll find the charger heated up. This is a signal that this charger has actually been sucking electricity, and it has been using electricity, and therefore we ought to unplug these chargers after we have used them. The other chargers are these mobile phone chargers, your smartphone chargers, and all phone chargers. In most cases, after using them, we leave them in the socket. It is not good, because they will continue taking in and using that minimal energy, the minimal power that they can get. But even if they are getting minimal energy, they are increasing the burden on the power plants to produce more energy for their sustainability. And therefore, we ought also to remember to always unplug these chargers, these electronic chargers. We ought to remember to unplug them after we have used to charge. Yes, the other way that we can use to eliminate and also reduce vampire power is through using a power strip. Now, the advantage of a power strip is that you can plug in your different electrical appliances in here, and it has a switch on and switch off. And so at a certain time, when all the appliances that you are plugged in here, you are not using them, then you can simply switch off this power strip. And switching off the power strip is equivalent to unplugging all these appliances that you have, you could have plugged into the different sockets. But if you have the power strip, then you simply switch off and they will not be consuming power. So this is another important gadget that we can use at home to really eliminate vampire power due to idle electronics that might have been otherwise plugged into the different sockets in your house. And so this is a cool thing for us to use. And so that is what we had to discuss today. Once again, I call out to all of us to love the environment, to care for the environment in the simplest way that we can, in the easiest way that we can. Let us love the environment. Let us conserve our nature. Let us give back to it, because it is the environment that has enabled us to survive. And so let us give back to this environment. I call upon all of us to share the message, to share the video, and remember to subscribe and hit on the notification bars for such that you do not miss out on the next videos that are coming. I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.